Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with jazz vocalist and visual artist Kathy Kosins. We caught up with her in Detroit in mid-April 2020 over the phone as this new COVID-19 world started ramping up. We had a candid talk about quite a bit. She has some history in Kansas City, and she talked about her latest 2020 single, Fancy Free. Teamed up with legendary flautist Hubert Laws for a vocal flute rendition of the classic on the 50th anniversary of the song. Her sound exemplifies the intersection of jazz and soul that is steeped in the jazz tradition, as well as all of the energy and intensity of soul. It was a great talk. Enjoy.
I'm in downtown Ferndale. I'm right outside of Detroit.
Okay.
And one of my best pianists, whenever I'm there and I've done the Blue Room, he's just amazing. I hope he's okay. I haven't talked to him in years. Joe Cartwright.
Oh, yeah. Joe's great. Yeah, I think he's good. Yeah.
I was through there a few years ago. I had a gig at the Blue Room, and prior to that, Joe and I did a crazy gig in Podunk, Nebraska, in this tiny little, funny little town. Brownville. There were maybe it's a town of 500 or less. And it was a 2-day, a little performing arts center, tiny little church, which maybe holds 70 people, does a performing arts center series, a jazz series, and they featured me, and I used Joe for that. It was just an insane, weird place. And I started painting. That was my first experience painting from the stage. You know, I'm a visual artist, and I paint from the stage when I'm on stage. I show work in galleries, and that was my first time ever doing that. And I think it might have been maybe 2014, something like that. So ever since then, I've been painting from the stage at every concert, big or small. Even when I opened for Gregory Porter a year ago in an amphitheater in Atlanta, I was painting from the stage. Yeah, this is so, I'm so distracted right now. I can't even...
Me too, and it's weird. I'm a visual artist too. And
You are?
Yeah, I do a lot of visual arts, and I was just telling my son, Miles, who has been really enjoying these interviews, that I just sent a painting to Bobby Watson before all of this happened. I interviewed him.
Love Bobby Watson. Him.
I interviewed him for Jam Magazine, which is our kind of jazz Bible here, our monthly jazz Bible.
I know it. I know it well.
Yeah, so I've been a contributor to that for a couple of years. So
I think I've been reviewed. Yeah,
I
think I've been in that magazine. Do you know, besides, having all the success on the smooth jazz and the soul level, I'm a straight ahead jazz artist. I've had 6 commercially released straight ahead jazz albums from 1995 forward. And I've been played all over the Kansas City. I sort of cross genres with all these digital single releases, which I had nothing to do with. It's the record label that I'm on. And actually, it was a genius idea. We just got tired of releasing albums into the marketplace because it cost a fortune, not just to make, but to hire print and radio people to promote it. Mark Reaney is my radio guy. Lydia Liebman is my print, and before her it was Don Lukoff, and before him it was before Mark Reaney it was Dick LaPalme. May he rest in peace. So it's like a $25,000 plus event.
Yeah.
That includes shipping of product, and so we decided at one point. Maybe, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, to stop releasing hard copies. And we went digital. And we went single releases. And then we took songs off of my album, my last album, Uncovered Soul, and we started doing remixes and farming it out to really brilliant remixers. To make a long story short, all these remixes came out. And then I keep recording new from the ground up, like remakes like completely reimagined versions of some of these songs that came out. And now we're releasing the reimaginations of the stuff that originally came out on the album. And in the interim, I've been writing all this stuff. So I was supposed to be in the studio next month in L.A. with my L.A. guys in my L.A.-based studio, which is where I did the album. And now that's not going to happen. God knows when I can get back into a studio again. So now what I'm trying to do is summon all of my friends that are brilliant writers, and I'm saying, send me tracks. Let me just take a stab. Let me write lyrics and melody, because that's what I do anyway. That's how I write. When I'm writing melody and lyrics to just people sending me tracks. I've been doing that since the 90s when I did all this R&B and hip-hop stuff. People would send me tracks and I would write. So there's no reason why I can't do this again. But Joe Cartwright, brilliant. Just brilliant.
Absolutely.
And he put the bands together for me. I don't even remember who they were. Guys that he works with. I've been in Kansas City. I've been, where was I? Very close. At a couple of colleges where over the years, I've done over 200 college and university gigs with the jazz programs. Never worked with Bobby. Never got into that school. And there's brilliant people, really good vocal jazz guy over there too. But I've been all over the place. And in Nebraska too, in really little towns in Nebraska with tiny little colleges, private schools. One of them was near South Dakota. I can't even think of the name. All this stuff is in my past from 2014, 15, 16, and I can't, unless I look at my website and look at a list. Hastings College was one. Unless I actually look at the list of places that I've physically been, I can't tell you unless it's a year ago. If it's 4 years ago, because there's so many of them. And I've been all over Europe in the interim. So it's just one big blur unless I'm physically looking at the names in the list. And then if I see Hastings College, I can say, oh, yeah, I remember the jazz studies director. Oh, yeah, I remember working with that group of vocal jazz students or their big band, because I have a beautifully written book of big band charts. And I work with jazz ensembles at colleges and universities, big and small.
Yeah. Thanks for being able to, take a couple more minutes out to talk about.
Of course.
About some music. I gotta say, I did spend some time up there in Ferndale and Royal Oak and that area. I went up to Detroit. Got stuck in a blizzard years ago. I love it up there. It's awesome.
Yeah, but it's fabulous now.
Yeah, this was like in '98, I think I was up there. But I remember.
Oh yeah, in '98. In '98, this place was really. It was very bad. There was nothing to do. It was like a ghost town. It had been like that for about 15 years. And then from 2010 forward, 2011 forward, 2012 maybe, the guy that owns the Cleveland Cavaliers, Dan Gilbert, bought up every historical building, and he basically bought up the entire city of Detroit, downtown.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Every building, everything is turned into condos, apartments, restaurants, art galleries, theaters, music venues, where the Pistons play, where the Lions play, where the Tigers play, stadiums. It's unbelievable. And then if you go east and west of the city, east and west of the initial downtown area, and that's where the Jazz Festival is too, downtown, our Detroit Jazz Festival. And the woman that owns the Jazz Festival is like 94, and she owns a jazz club very much like Bergland or the Jazz Standard in New York City. And she also owns Mack Avenue Records. So she owns all that. Like I said to you today on the phone earlier, I'm like very distracted. I'm not myself at all. I can't focus on any one thing except when it comes to when it comes to trying to get money.
Yeah. I understand.
Then I'm really focused. Really focused.
So talk to me a little bit about Fancy Free. Give me an idea of how this came about.
Okay, all right. Fancy Free. I can't even, I can't tell you everything. I know somehow when I was doing all of this collaborative work with Kamau and another guy who I started writing and recording with, a guy from Detroit by the name of Paul Randolph, African-American electric bassist and songwriter and singer, and he's part of a band in Germany called Jazzanova. And he lives down the street from me. And he's sort of like a cross between Amp Fiddler and Jay Dilla and Herbie Hancock. I mean, he and I wrote this really wild tune called Could You Be Me? And it's based on the musings, on the writings, not the music, but more on the writings of Miles Davis, on the quote of Miles Davis. We put, and I should send you that track. Once you hear that track, you'll say, whoa! And there's a radio edit, and then there's a long form, and then all these people did all these they did their own remixes. Theo Parrish did one. There's a guy in Sweden by the name of Opolopo that did one. That's how Paul and I got started. So I introduced Paul to Kamau, and we all decided collectively how cool would it be to take a Detroit artist like Donald Byrd, and actually Kamau used to be in Donald Byrd's band, and take a song, an instrumental tune. We were exploring ideas. Maybe a Roy Ayers tune, maybe a Donald Byrd tune, maybe a Kenny Cox tune. All these like esoteric, really interesting guys out of Detroit. So we ended up with Fancy Free because it was such a distinct melody. So sure enough, Paul Randolph wrote lyrics to it. And we cut it. I mean, it's that simple. And then we gave the tracks, we gave what we did to Kamau, and we did a bunch of, like, people can do everything on computer now. We did these musical edits, and we opened it up, and a lot of it was copy and pasted, and it was, we made long form, short form, all these various edits, and then Hubert Laws put his flute parts on in Los Angeles.
Wow.
And there you have it. That's the story.
That's great.
I've never met Hubert Laws.
Wow. Yeah, he was he was just a great guy, man. He just had a real warmth and a real
I'd love to meet him now. Now I would love to talk to him, I mean, this record is starting to get some traction. And in fact, it's going to cross over, I think, into the urban adult contemporary, into the indie soul. It's already on the smooth jazz chart that entered at 38, and now it's at 30. Be interesting to see where it goes next week. Is that how you found it?
I had an agent send it over.
So, anybody that wants drops, anybody that wants an interview, I'm happy to do it. If you ask me, I thought maybe you wanted to interview me about my, about my long career, because mine's almost as long as Hubert's. Hubert's is longer than mine, but, I'm not a baby. I've been to the rodeo, that's for sure.
Well, let's do this, because just because of the way things have been working out and time constraints, I really did want to talk to you about this single, and I really wanted to include some quotes about it on the show.
Okay.
Let's slice out some time to get into your career. And
another time? You want to do that another day?
Yeah, because that way we could really, I want to spend some time really going over your career.
First of all, my website is simple. It's kathykosins.com. Nose around there a little bit. You can hear a lot of stuff. And then my EPK website is simply kathykosins.live. And if you go to both of those, kathykosins.live is basically a very shortened, abbreviated version. There's a lot of stuff on my website, including an art page where you can see a lot of my artwork. What else can I tell you about Fancy Free? Paul Randolph and I did background vocals for it. Paul Randolph, I have to say, has taken a lot of my songs from my album, and we've recut them from the ground up. So, in other words, I cut a song called Voodoo, which was written by the Neville Brothers. It's on my album, Uncovered Soul. We recut it, and now it's called Put the Voodoo on Me. So we recut it in Detroit with like Amp Fiddler and all these just incredible R&B session guys and guys that play out live. So this is the best part about what I've been doing with offshoots and offspring from this album. Fancy Free had nothing to do with my album. Either did the song Could You Be Me, which is what Paul and I wrote. I've got to send you this right now. I'm going to send you this. There's so much I could share with you as far as the history of my career. It's a long history. I've been at this for 40 years plus.
Yeah.
I started as a background singer with Michael Henderson, and I was in Don Was's band, Was Not Was, for over 10 years.
Wow.
And I still do stuff with Don. Mm-hmm.
We'll pick it back up with the longer interview next. But good luck, stay safe, and until next time.
Thanks a million. Talk to you soon.
Take care.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest singers and artists in Detroit, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. Thanks to Kathy for her time, passion, and music. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit Neon Jazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.